that quick. And so Edward freaks out. He thinks at that point that he is not good for her. I mean, duh. So he says, I'm leaving you. I'm never going to see you again. I'm getting out of your life. The whole family, we're going to disappear. So just forget about me. And this just destroys her. I mean, she's utterly shattered beyond what is normal, beyond what is healthy. And I know. I had adolescent psychology 101. I mean, I'm a trained master's level counselor. When you're a teenager, small catastrophes seem enormous. But this is way over the top. I mean, she withdraws into this profound depression. I mean, she won't see her friends. She just goes to school, does her homework, and stays in bed all the time. I mean, if I were to see her, I would say she was clinically depressed. And she becomes self-destructive because she discovers something. She discovers that if she does something really dangerous, Edward suddenly shimmers around her like a phantom, and she sees him, kind of like an astral vision. And so she does stuff like drive motorcycles really fast, or jump off cliffs, or goes and flirts with a bunch of hoodlums on the street at night, things like that, just to see a glimpse of her missing boyfriend. Now, is that healthy behavior? Remember, this is the most popular female heroine right now for teenage girls in the world. Edward also is emotionally abusive and very controlling. But yet, like many abused women, she clings to him, even though he is abusive. He tries to control all her behavior. He isolates her from her family and friends. He is constantly checking up on her, and major creepy, he stands there all night and watches her sleep. Because, you see, vampires don't have to sleep. I should explain that in these novels, a few tweaks are done to the vampire mythos. Edward does not have to stay out of the sunlight because it will turn him into a crispy critter. He has to stay out of the sunlight because if he walks into the sunshine, his skin glitters like diamonds, and his true supernatural identity would be revealed. So, see, again, there's this attempt being made to make vampires more and more noble, more and more godlike, less and less. Because if you flee the light, then some of that makes you sound evil, doesn't it? And at the end of the second novel, after this long period where Bella is like moping and being depressed and trying to jump off cliffs and whatnot, he himself tries to kill himself. So this is really great. When you think of the high level of suicide rate among our teenagers these days, Bella will do anything for Edward, including lie to her family. Her love consists of a deep intensity and burning devotion that should really only belong to the Almighty, not to any human being. And let me just say something. This is kind of peripheral to this, but in a way it isn't. I'm speaking as someone who was happily married for 36 years to my wife until she passed away last month. But if you are trying to get total fulfillment of your soul out of your spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you're out of luck. You're never going to find it. Because there's only one being in the universe that can totally fill your heart. And it's not your honey. It's Yeshua. And even if you're a Christian, and I know many Christians that are single are walking, I've got to find the one woman or the one guy in my life that God wants for me, blah, 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 and then we'll be perfect. And no, you won't. There ain't no such thing as a perfect marriage. Because there ain't no such thing as perfect people. There's not one perfect person on earth today. The only one that was perfect was Yeshua. So, my point, I guess, is that the fact that she is so all obsessed and all encompassed with this guy, it's not healthy. It's not healthy for a teenager. It's not healthy for an adult. She says that literally she's willing to lose her soul to be with him. Now, let me just put this in a more mundane setting. Imagine you have a teenage daughter and you're a parent. And she wants to go out and fornicate with her boyfriend, have premarital sex. And you say, if you do that, that's a serious sin. That's a grave sin in the sight of the Almighty. She says, I don't care, she says. I'd be willing to lose my soul just for one night of heaven with him. That's what this same thing is being addressed in these novels, except in a more esoteric way. Let's look at the Cullen family for a moment. I ain't going to go into a lot of depth on this because I don't have time, but they're this perfect family. He's a doctor, and they're not even a family. None of them are even related, except by the fact that most of them, the husband of the family, bit them and turned them all into vampires. But they have no other relationship. But he's got a wife who's the mother of the family, and then they've got, I think five siblings that are all, again, unrelated except by the fact that they're all vampires. And they've chosen to live together and live this vegan vampire lifestyle. And they're all perfectly beautiful. Every single one of them is more handsome or more beautiful than the last. They're impossibly beautiful. They're all very restrained. They're very warm. They're very compassionate, with a few minor exceptions here and there. They're like the perfect family. Now, remember, this lady is a devout Mormon that wrote these books. And what's impossible to avoid doing is contrasting Bella's human family with this perfect vampire family. Remember, Mormons have a bumper sticker. It says, families are forever. They believe the family unit is eternal, that will go on into the eternities, father, mother, and all the children. They will go off and become gods and goddesses. And their gods and goddess children will have gods and goddess children. They will start planetary systems and have their own planets. And they will be gods and goddesses over these planets and have billions of spirit children. This is Mormon theology, folks. And in a way, the Cullen family is a perfect families are forever family, because they're godlike in their perfection. And then compare that to Bella's dysfunctional human family. I mean, her mother is this kind of flaky, new agey, ditz of a woman who can't even figure out how to turn on her cell phone half the time. And she's off running around the country with her ball player who's in the minor leagues husband. Her father is this nice but emotionally inept guy who's the sheriff of this town, or police chief, whatever, I forget. And, he's well-meaning, but he's kind of a dolt. If I was a father and all this stuff was going on in my house,
Our brothers and sisters, our time is up. If you'd like to have today's vampire gift offer, you're going to call 785-266-1112.